What's up, everybody? This is your man, Dr. John C. Turner, aka the Professor JT, and we are here with another episode of the Doc Chat Show. I have some incredible doctors on here, Dr. Amanda Speights and Dr. Dennis Whitfield, coming off of his fresh hooding and graduation. We're so proud of you, my guy. A guy who comes on and views every week. Now he's on the show. Can you believe this? This is awesome. And Dr. Speights doing her thing in California, out here doing the thing on the Doc Chat, occupational therapist. This is going to be a show you don't want to miss. If you're tuning in, if you're checking us out, say hello in the comments. Greet these great doctors. Let's have a phenomenal show. So without further ado, we're going to allow these doctors to introduce themselves. We're going to start with Dr. Amanda Speights. Welcome to the Doc Chat Show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Amanda Speights, like the number 8. That's the way to remember. I'm an occupational therapist by trade. That's my clinical background, about 13 years of practice. I recently got my doctorate. I say recently, but it's been about 2 years since I got my doctorate. It still feels recent because it's like recovering, right? And I got my doctorate in health science because that helped me advance my clinical practice and also position me to take a position in academia.
We love it. We love it. Dr. Amanda Speights, everybody. And we're going to go to Dr. Dennis Whitfield. Welcome to the Doc Chat Show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Like it says, my name is Dr. Whitfield. A little bit about myself is I'm brand new to IO psychology, so I'm not actually working in the field as of yet. Right now, I do work in employee development, so I do a lot with leadership development and training at a law enforcement agency in the local area. So I'm glad to be here.
We love it. We love it. Like I said, if you're tuning in, if you're checking us out, go ahead, shout out these great doctors in the comments. Tell us what doctor degree you're in. Tell us what doctor degree you got done. Shout out to all the doctors doing great things. We appreciate it so much. So we're going to go to Dr. Speights. All right. The direction you're in is very unique. Sometimes a lot of folks have not heard about it. So tell us about it. What led you to go the direction that you're in for your specific doctorate degree?
Okay. Well, my doctorate's in health science, and that helped me advance my clinical practice that I had for 13 years as an occupational therapist. Now, occupational therapy is a background that most people don't know what it is, right? But it's a healthcare profession that's based in the art and science of using activities as a therapeutic means for improving the health, wellness, and basic health of other people.
Okay, so
populations and different things like that. So it's using activities as a means for therapy.
Okay. So why that particular institution that you went to?
Honestly, it was close to home. Let's be real.
That's real.
Where I went got my master's degree. I went to the University of Florida, go Gators, for my bachelor's, but then I went back home to Miami, to Florida International University for my master's. And since I'm also from South Florida, and I stayed there for my doctorate.
Okay, wonderful. And Dr. Whitfield, and they're already showing love to those Ravens. Shout out to those Ravens. Tell us about why go the direction you went for your doctorate degree, and why even go for a doctorate degree at all.
Well, hey, first of all, I just want to say I feel like I was never headed in that direction. As a matter of fact, I always do what most people do, have a lot of excuses about why you can't go to school. And so it just took some person that I had just met. I wish I could remember her name, but during the time I was in the military, someone new came in and she just addressed me really and asked me, was I in school? And I told her no. And she asked me why. I said, because I don't have time. So she just slapped me upside the head and told me to get up from my desk. So I jumped up from my desk and got down and she started typing and she went to a website and then she got up and told me, now you sit down and sign up for school. So that's how I actually started my college journey. So I give a big shout out to her. I wish I could remember her name, but I can't. So maybe she'll see this video and holler back at me. But I chose my particular program because I've always been interested in leadership development. I've also been interested in coaching. And the real reason why I ended up at Walden is I started out in my master's program. I did 2 masters at Liberty University. And I would have stayed at Liberty, but at the time, Liberty did not have a program that was focused on what I wanted to take. So somehow I just stumbled across Walden. I don't remember how, but I didn't know about them. But I stumbled across them, and they had a program that I was interested in, which was industrial and organizational psychology, with specialization with leadership development and coaching. So that's how I got to Walden. And so my interest has always been in just promoting healthy atmospheres at work, not just at work, but at home, and just making sure that we know how to communicate with each other and not only develop safe spaces, but also brave spaces.
Love that. Absolutely love that. So if you're checking us out here on the Doc Chat Show, go ahead and give us a shout out. We appreciate you, Dr. Terry, for checking out the Doc Chat Show tonight. We appreciate you. If you are checking us out, holla at us. Let us know you're checking us out here on the Doc Chat Show. So we're going to go to our next level. We're going to go with Dr. Speights. All right. So you're in the program now. Tell us right here, what were some things you were like, oh, this is real now. This thing is real as you got into your doctorate program?
Well, for me, it was very interesting because I decided to pursue my doctorate while I was working full-time as a clinician. And that was pretty challenging. Yes. So I was full-time as a clinician at a clinical site that was on the campus of a university. So that way I was able to get a tuition waiver. Always try to find a way to get those waivers, try to get those scholarships or benefits. That's what I would say is a key to a doctorate, because I had a similar experience, Dr. Dennis, with a mentor who said, Amanda, you need that terminal degree yesterday. And I do remember her name, Dr. Sandy Dunbar. Thank you very much. And I went to get that doctorate degree the next day. I believe it was the next day I sat down and started to apply. So I would say that, getting a doctorate degree is something that you would pursue when you really want to elevate your practice or your trade or just whatever you're doing. And you want to elevate, go to that next level where you're not just doing the procedures, you're going from that high level process improvement, project management lens. I think that's what you're looking for in a doctorate. And that's what took me aback from undertaking that while I was in clinical practice. So I was seeing all the things in clinical practice that were going wrong from that process improvement standpoint and wanting to fix them, at the same time still working in the system, which really contributed to a good deal of burnout, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody can speak to that.
Well,
Burnout.
Yeah. And kind of go into that a little bit. What was the class or what was the project or even who was the professor that when you got to them or when you got to that moment, you were sitting there like, I don't know. I don't know.
Public policy.
Okay. So you already knew it.
Public policy. Oh, yeah. I mean, that'll break your heart. Just having to read all those policies and the different things that we did and current events. And at the time, our previous president was in office. So the different policies that were coming down the pipeline were pretty annoying to me, to say the least. That's a nice way of saying it, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. That's the PG way of saying it. Even though when we're in it, we definitely don't feel that way.
Right. But yeah, let's speak about burnout, because that's definitely something that's relevant.
That's true. That's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
So what we have burnout as far as pursuing that doctorate degree. It's what you're trading a lot. You're using your time in a way that's really focused and intense. So
True. Very
that can
true.
lead to some burnout.
Very true. Very true. And Dr. Whitfield, once again, man, they showing you that love on here. Shout out Dr. Terry, Walden graduate. She's showing you some love. So you're in the program now, fully online. I can imagine for you. So tell me about kind of what was your moment in that program that you're sitting there like, oh man, this thing that got real.
Yes, fully online. Besides, I did have to attend 4 residencies in
Wow.
person.
Wow.
So, but those were exciting times. Fully in my program. Wow. The reading, the amount of reading,
Yes.
the articles, chapter
Yes.
2, as I'm sure you all can imagine. What can I say? Just the amount of reading. You don't always fully understand what you're about to undertake until you start to decide, well, wait a minute, what's my topic going to be? And then you start to dive into all those articles, and then you realize, well, wait a minute, what about this? What about that? And it becomes so broad, you don't know what you want to write about. And then you have that task of narrowing it down. And so that can be a challenge. And then not to mention, like Dr. Amanda said, working full time and just having the other things of life going on. And then you realize, hey, I'm in this program and I can't quit. So yeah, it's real. And you have to have great support, and you have to have great chairs too.
True. Very true.
It was, and not only that, but it stayed real for me because throughout my program, I think I might have moved at least 5 or 6 times. So
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah.
I moved at least 5 or 6 times, and I had to take several leaves of absence for various reasons. So yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling
Did
you.
you find your program to be supportive of you?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes, they were very supportive. Like I said, exceptional chair. Shout out to Dr. Bostein. She was terrific, even to the point where she was supposed to retire recently. And I asked her to please stay on, let me graduate. So she didn't retire. She stayed on until I graduated. And then I think that pretty soon here she's going to retire. So I'm very glad I didn't have to switch chairs. As you can imagine, if you switch chairs, you can end up going down a whole different set of challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about you, Dr. Amanda? Do you feel you got support in your program?
I did, because I had to extend one of my projects. There was 2 parts of the capstone. One of them was an internship, and the other was a project. I had to make an educational project for the community, and I needed some more time to work on that. So I took an extra semester to work on it, and I really did find that the professors were very supportive of that.
That's very good. Very good.
Because there's bumps in the road. You think that grad school is going to go one way, and then it's more like zigzag, 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 zigzag.
And that, folks, is a doctorate degree right there. It's a true zigzag for sure. I'm telling y'all, we are here just getting started on the Doc Chat, folks. Got Dr. Speights, got Dr. Whitfield, and they are dropping dimes already. I'm telling you right now. And we are going to get into that final piece because Dr. Amanda jumped into it, which I appreciate. Tell us about the end. What was your final project on? How did your degree complete? And kind of what tips would you give to somebody looking at that finish line to complete their doctorate degree?
I would say just keep going, like one foot in front of the other. That's the best advice that I can give, is one foot in front of the other, one semester after the other, and just take it like one bite at a time, right? That's the way you eat an elephant. You need one bite at a time, because that's what a doctorate degree is. It's like eating an elephant, because it's just so massive. And even when you think about your capstone project or your dissertation, it's this huge thing. And it doesn't feel like you're able to do it. But if you break it into little pieces, if you have great chairs, if you have great support, if you have a template, or you have somebody who's done it before that can show you how they've done it, or something to look at, an example, then you can to make it into little pieces and really just scaffold it for yourself.
That's true. That's true. So what was your final project on?
My final project actually was on implementing virtual sensory interventions with autistic students. So it was during the pandemic. I was working in clinical practice at a preschool, and we had to go fully online. So I went into the literature and just started researching, how do I implement programs online? How do I implement sensory interventions online? And I really wanted to see how I could affect social emotional learning through sensory interventions in the virtual classrooms.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Just showing love, Dr. Speights out here. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate it. Mad love coming to the doctors on the dot chat always. We absolutely love it. And so you're getting to that finish line yourself, Dr. Whitfield, which is very recent, actually. Tell us, kind of tell us what was coming down that pipe. You're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. What were you feeling, and what was your final either dissertation or project
on? My project was on cultural humility as a predictor of intention to leave, moderated by authentic leadership. Specifically, it was a study based on more culturally humble leaders being needed in the workforce today.
Wow.
As you all know, there's multiple different generations that are part of the organizations today. And we have multiple leaders from different backgrounds, and everybody don't respond the same way. So there's not one way to lead every person in the organization. You have to know how to deal with the individual. And so it's a lot of that missing in today's organizations. And you have particularly people of the younger culture that they're like, I'm out of here. If you don't know how to talk to them, if you don't know how to deal with them, it's different than, say, when I grew up. You just sort of, okay, I'll take that. But today, it's a different atmosphere. So we have to learn as leaders that we cannot operate the way we did 10, 15, 20 years ago. So basically, the study was about, would more culturally humble leaders prevent today's employees from leaving their workplaces?
Wow.
So that's what the study focused on.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely powerful. Absolutely powerful. There, you both are doing incredible work.
I'm eager to hear the results, because
there you go.
Well, the results was that cultural humility was definitely a significant predictor of an employee's intention to leave their organization. So that was the result.
Okay.
Powerful.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Right. We need more mindful leaders, and just remembering like what really is leadership, right? It's just a process of influence to achieve a goal. So we just remember we're just trying to achieve that goal, and maybe step aside from the ego a little bit sometimes.
And I'll say the idea for my study came from studies that were done way before mine. And basically it was about the way that people of color are receiving inappropriate treatment in the medical field. And so in particular, women. Say, for instance, women, the leaders in the medical field would have these preconceived notions about, let's say, for instance, a woman might complain about back pain or something. Well, they may think, oh, all Black women, they're over exaggerating their pain, so they wouldn't treat them properly. So they weren't being very culturally humble. They took a class on what is it, cultural competence or something like that, and they figured that they knew everything there was to know about culture. And so the difference between cultural competence and cultural humility is cultural competence is kind of like saying, okay, I got it, I arrived, I've been there, done that. Whereas culturally humble means that I'm a lifelong learner about this person or this group of people, and I'm never going to know everything. So I'm going to have to adapt as time as we continue to go along.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that.
And Dr. Speights, where did your idea come from? Because you kind of hinted at this, you kind of want to know you're going in with something, and that helps you.
Yes. I was in something, right? Just like the rest of us were. We were in that lockdown. We were in the pandemic, and I was, working frontline as a healthcare worker, but serving the school-based population as an occupational therapist, and in the homes, virtually in the homes of parents and children, trying to help them through this really difficult time. So that's what I really fed my passion of going after the literature really intensely, and making sure that I was being thorough and finding some solutions, being really solution oriented, actually.
For sure. And that's what the journey is about. You're trying to fill that gap, whatever that gap is, and know, just as Dr. Whitfield said, there's a lot of research out there, but what is my piece? How am I going to fill this gap? And you both definitely did that, which is awesome. This is awesome. Definitely, we appreciate these great doctors as we're on here today on the Doc Chat Show. Dr. Amanda Speights, Dr. Dennis Whitfield. And you know what time it is? It's that fun part of the show where we talk about crossing that doctoral finish line. So let me get up a couple pictures here. We'll start with the great Dr. Speights.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Tell us, you finally got to that finish line. What did it mean to put that robe on and put that hood on?
Oh, everything. I was so done. So, I was so ready to be done. I was so happy. And yeah, really blessed and fortunate that I had some good folks to come celebrate with me and take pictures of me, and some fun pictures there.
So you went to graduation even during the pandemic, still got hooded and all those things?
It was right at the end. So this was March 2021, and we graduated on where the Dolphins play. So we sat on the field. It was hot. Yes. So we sat on the field, and I was burning up. I had a fan. They caught me on the Jumbotron fanning myself, looking like a woman in church, just like going at it. Like, it is hot. I was like, it is hot out here, please.
And who did you get hooded by?
For me, we had to hood ourselves because pandemic, right?
Wow, they wouldn't even let y'all get hooded. Wow, the pandemic was real. It was real. But hey, y'all at least had the graduation. There are
at least we had a graduation.
Right.
Very limited, tickets. I think I had 3 or 4 tickets, and it was very limited. But
yeah, I mean, there are little literal doctors still upset the fact they did not have a graduation at all. So even in March of 2021, still kind of in the mix of all that.
Still the mix.
It's still awesome. Still awesome. So as you were there that day, what is your best memory of your graduation?
My grandmother came. So that was beautiful. I thought that, thinking of a woman who was not able to finish high school after she got pregnant and delivered my mother, to see me get my doctorate degree must have been like beyond what I could even imagine for her.
Absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. Let's
Yeah.
get this.
Dr. Amanda, if I can say so, your photos just, it spoke to the balancing act
Oh yes, it was a
that you
balancing
must
act.
put on for that doctoral program. It's definitely a balancing act.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's see if we can get these up. Dr. Whitfield, let me make sure I get to them first. Excuse me a little bit. I think I'm having a little delay, but I should be okay. Let's take a look. Now, Dr. Whitfield, you're talking about these pictures are hot off the press here that I'm about to put up here. Make sure I get to them here. Tell me about your day and what it meant to get to that doctorate degree.
Well, again, as one of my friends would say, it was amazing. Not amazing, but amazing. Just being there, first of all, when you go through the program, you wonder if you're gonna even get through the program.
Right.
At least I did, and the pressure was on for me because once I started the program, some of the brothers that were at the church I attended at the time, they started nicknaming me Dr. Witty. So that's where that came from. And so I thought, oh gosh, no pressure, right? So yeah, so there was always a wonder. So, when I got to that day, it was sort of surreal. Like, I'm just so glad to be here. I had my family there, so I was very proud and happy just to have them there. And I had my best friend from high school there. So that was a little disappointing that, you can't have everybody you'd like to have there.
Right.
But overall, just the fact that my family was there and my best friend was there, that was exciting. And just that walk across the stage and, you get that hood. It's like after that, you're like, now you can breathe. And so, yeah, it kind of reminds me of when I was younger, a long time ago. And I was at a carnival with my older brother, and he wanted to go through a haunted house, and haunted houses are really dark. And so I didn't know if I wanted to go in, but he said, well, if you go in, you're going to have to hold on to the back of my shirt and you cannot let go until we get to the other side. And so he just took off running, and all I can remember was my eyes were shut and I was holding the back of his shirt, and he just kept running, and I never opened my eyes until I could feel the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's what this doctoral program reminds me of. Just holding on until you get to the end of that tunnel and you see that light.
That's the truth right there. That's the truth. And kind of as I'm going through here, you wasn't playing. You was like, oh, I'm gonna commemorate this graduation to the fullest.
I give these shots, I give the props to the photographer. I didn't have any ideas. All I wanted to do was take some graduation photos, and trust me, none of these pictures were necessarily my idea, especially that one. This was not my idea. This was totally his idea. And it turned out to be awesome. And he told me that was my new album cover.
That's for sure. Now tell me about this next one here.
Your dissertation cover, maybe.
Yeah.
Go ahead and bound it. Get it bound and printed. Put that on there.
Okay. Everybody has this moment. I have one of these moments. Tell me what this was. What did this mean to take this picture and remember it just 4 years later?
You know, I was in Germany at the time. I was in Germany. This picture was taken shortly before I moved back to the States, all while I'm in my degree program. And my husky, his name is Aspen, and he loves attention. And so basically during my program, he was used to getting walked at least twice a day. And basically this was a moment, it was a real moment. It wasn't staged. He was bothering me. As you can see, I had all my papers spaced out on the floor, and I was somewhere there, probably typing or doing something, and he began to bug me, and I couldn't give him the attention. And then I told him to go away, and that's what he did. Instead of going away, he decided to lay on top of my papers. So when he did it, I took a photo. However, as I stated in that caption, is I had no idea that that would be the actual day that I walked across the stage in 2023. Wow. This picture was taken in 2019.
Wow.
And the very day that I walked across the stage, which was the 21st of July, it's the same day back in 2019.
4 years later.
I thought that was amazing because I couldn't find the picture. I was actually looking for that picture to give it to my son to put in my video presentation, and I couldn't find it. And so on that day of the commencement ceremony, you know how Facebook reminds you of posts? Yeah. Well, that's how I found it. Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome right there. Well, we hope your son and we hope Aspen now are doing well after Daddy has got all that doctorate stuff done, which is epic. It is epic. Yeah. So tell me about your best moment of the graduation day.
Oh, the best moment, I would say probably right around there. When they announced that Dr. Dennis Duran Whitfield, and I could hear my kids screaming my name. That was the best moment. And to just come out and see them at the end, and to just know that you finished, that you completed what you started.
Yeah.
And to hope that what you achieve, not only does it mean something to you, but it means something to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's what it's all about for me.
That's it.
That even the people that you may not even know that saw you or watched, that they were impacted in some way.
That's epic. Absolutely epic. Folks, I'm telling you, these doctors are awesome. Absolutely awesome. They went through the gauntlet of what we call the doctorate degree, and they got the job done. And we are truly proud of them so much. Dr. Speights, Dr. Whitfield, still got a little time left, so we're going to go have a little fun. So, Dr. Speights, you're doing some work even outside of your career. We kind of want to know a little bit about that. Kind of what are you doing, and how is life after the doctorate degree for you?
Right. Life after the doctorate degree, I have taken a position at a university. I'm in California, so I live on the West Coast now, even though I did a lot of my education, all of my education on the East Coast, in Florida. So I'm on the other side now in California, working at a university in occupational therapy program, and I'm a faculty member.
Okay. And what do you do in your spare time now that the doctorate degree is done?
I know, spare time. I work more in my spare time. I'm still a clinician in my spare time. I advise an app. I work for a startup company, and I perform telehealth services and consulting services for an app.
Okay. That's awesome.
But other than that, I love yoga and meditation.
There you go. There you go. See, you gotta have something. You gotta have something outside this work.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's a beautiful thing. All right, Dr. Whitfield, kind of now a whole 6 days after graduation. Tell us a little bit about kind of now your life, now that the doctorate degree is done. Even maybe some aspirations that you have. I know you said you're looking to get into your field with that doctorate degree. And kind of what do you do in your spare time as well?
Well, right now I'm trying to get into actually doing what I went to school for my doctorate degree for. So I'm actually trying to get on to be a psychologist, like a research psychologist or personnel psychologist in different organizations. I'm also desiring to get back to doing some more adjunct instructing for college. So I'm still getting looked at for that. Some other things is I do have a YouTube page and a Facebook page. I call it at higher level learning with Dr. Whitty. So I'm trying to get that jump started.
Nice.
I have it in the works. So I'm just going to be working on some episodes, and I'm going to be going live with that here pretty soon. So I hope people will tune into that as well. I don't have all the topics, but I'll be, getting some topics along the way, and then from feedback from others as well is where I'll draw various topics from. Other than that, I love to read. I'm doing reading. I love to go to the gym and work out. Yeah, I'm trying to relax, and I'm also about to complete my graduate certificate in evidence-based coaching, so that I can take the exam to be a board certified coach.
Beautiful.
So
that's nice right there. That's epic right there. Now, Dr. Speights, looking at your field, not usually the road most traveled. You could actually say it's the road less traveled, but a great doctor here has done it. What tips would you give somebody that's coming down that road? What would you give them right now? If you could talk to Dr. Speights a few years ago before you were Dr. Speights, what would you tell her in order to tell the next generation that want to be just like you?
I would give them some advice on understanding the context and a profile of the profession, because something that I did not realize, and folks may not think this matters, but it actually does. The profession is mostly white and female, about 84% white, 91% female. Wow. So there's a problem with diversity in this field, and realizing that and realizing that there's areas that need improvement, but that there also will be some challenges because when you're the first, or when you're among the first, and when you're breaking new ground, you will have some difficulty and some pushback. So I think if I understood the road that I was taking was going to be more challenging than I thought it was, then I would have been a little bit more prepared. But I kind of just had this, yay, let's go get my doctorate degree and things going to be fine.
Yeah.
As soon as I get that doctorate, like, oh, that's just the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of individuals go in like that. You're just happy you got that letter that says you're in. And then you're like, oh, what did I get myself into? Like, I didn't know it was all this that was going on. But, I think you're exactly right. That education on it just might not be that many people that look like you in this. Right. Very important. Very important. Dr. Whitfield, what advice would you give yourself jumping into this, doing this thing, getting it done? What would you tell the next generation that say, man, that guy, Dr. Whitfield, I want to be just like him?
First of all, you can know that you can, because there'll be a lot of reasons why you think you can't. There'll be I mean, you wouldn't imagine the number of people that will try to discourage you from doing it, including people who already are doctors.
Come on now.
So you have to know why you want to do it. You have to already make up in your mind that if this is the road that you're going to take, you're going to do it no matter what. You have to have remember why you started, because like I said, there'll be lots of ebbs and flows and vicissitudes of life. Every excuse you could come up with, I'm sure many people have experienced it, from death to sickness, moving, whatever. Challenging chairs. You have to stay focused on the end goal. That's the number one thing I would tell people. And secondly, you got to have the dog pound behind you, that support team, the people that no matter what, they're going to say, you got this. Don't quit. Don't stop. They're going to dig into their pocket. Oh, you need money for textbooks. I got you. Whatever. I couldn't tell you how many times someone, hey, they bought my textbooks. Or,
wow.
One person even paid to have my car shipped. All kinds of stuff. So you have to have those people behind you, because there'll be lots of things that come up that'll make you quit, or that'll make you think about quitting and giving up your pursuit.
Wow, that's powerful right there. That's powerful. Folks, we're here on the Dot Chat today. Dr. Speights and Dr. Whitfield, they dropping that knowledge, I'm telling you. And I want to keep going with that. I want to keep going with that flow. Dr. Speights, you're looking at a time now where people are like, well, I don't know if education is that important. What would you say to that in this day and time? Because to have gone through 3 degrees and now to be where you're at, what would you say to these individuals, especially somebody just coming out of high school thinking, I don't think college is for me?
I would say that I know it's a really scary time, especially with some of the decisions that have been coming down the pipeline. It's a scary time. And it does feel like maybe folks are saying that you don't belong here or you're not wanted here. But you should believe that there are institutions, there are admissions officers that are committed to their goals of increasing diversity and increasing access and support to students of color and students from diverse backgrounds. So you are wanted, you are needed. You're more than wanted, you are needed.
That's powerful. Yeah. Dr. Whitfield, same question.
Oh, go ahead. Can you repeat it for me?
That's no problem. The young people, a lot of younger people saying they're 18, 19 years old. I don't think college for me. I don't really want to go to college. What would you tell them?
Well, I hear this all the time. And the truth is, college is not for everybody. However, if it is for you, I tell you to go for it. I tell young people to have a plan. If you don't want to go to college, if you don't think that you'll do well, have a plan. At least do something, even if it's a trade. But I had a lot of people. Let's say, for instance, I had a lot of people ask me, why am I going to college? What am I going to get out of it? The last time I checked, a degree was nothing but paper. And my response to that is, I get it. Last time I checked, money was paper, right? But you need it. You need education, right? But more importantly than money, because this is what I get out of it, right? Where I am opens up access. It places me at doors. It allows me to open the door. It allows me to be in the room. It allows me to be at the table. It allows me to be seated at the table. It allows me to give voice to where otherwise I may not have that access.
That's good.
It's like a in the health arena, right? You wouldn't want just anybody. You wouldn't want just anybody operating on you. No, you wouldn't, right? So you could say all day, well, I don't need a degree to be a surgeon. Well, guess what? in today's day and age, if you don't have a degree and you don't have that practice, you're not going to be operating on anybody because it's going to be illegal, right?
That's
So, contrary to what a lot of people say, yeah, you may not need a degree to work in certain places, but you do need one if you plan to work in certain areas and you plan to be effective. It's not just about having a title or having a degree, but it's about the knowledge that you gain, and it's about what you're able to glean and bring to the table when you're in the room.
That's
so it's about that for me, because like I said, there's just certain things that if you do not go to school, if you do not get that education, if you don't practice, you're just not going to be effective. Nobody's going to want to hear what you have to say. Nobody's going to want to listen to you. And that's just the way it goes. So I encourage people that if you want to do it, go do it. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. You'd be surprised at the light that will come on. And not to be all deep or anything, but when it comes to knowledge, you know, that's what that word really means. It means light. So, and the reason why we, you know, all people, you know, live in some of the states we live in is because of what? We lack knowledge. We lack light. We lack it. We just day to day, we have no idea what's going on. And many of us aren't even interested. So I encourage people to become interested, get involved, go for that doctorate degree if you have that passion.
I love it. Absolutely love it. We appreciate even the great folks that have been on our show for tuning in. Dr. Drayton, we appreciate you, my God. Appreciate you tuning in down there in the ATL, man. We love you. Love the work that you're doing. So we're going to go, Dr. Amanda, because I want to hit this. This is a big thing right now. Okay. Today is Black Women Equal Pay Day.
Oh,
yes, it is.
We understand Black women's pay compared to everyone else is lower than anybody else. Lower. Tell me your heart of hearts right now. What does this day mean as far as being an advocate for women and equal pay?
I would like us to first look at what is today. Today is July 27th. Mm-hmm. It takes until July 27th of the next year for a Black woman to catch up with everybody else.
Wow. Yeah.
Just think about that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And all the things that Black women carry and represent, and everything that we work for in this community. And that's not that money is everything, but to devalue the work that we do to the level that we can't even make enough money to live in a single year is horrific.
Man, yeah, it sits on your heart a lot. And Dr. Whitfield, kind of your thoughts on what this day is, especially looking at the Black women. We know the Black women support us Black men in amazing ways. What does this day signify for you?
Hey, I agree. Black women always support Black men. I have one that supports everything that I do, even when I don't deserve it.
Bless her. God bless her.
So shout out to the Black women. And my opinion is, hey, if they do the job, pay them. You know, because a woman is a person. So if I get paid to do the same job she's doing, that my whole opinion and thought is she's doing the same job. And we know a lot of times women sometimes do an even greater job.
Yeah, we got to tell that truth. Yeah, let's tell the truth.
If they're doing the job, pay them the same. Because we all know that it's no longer well, I won't say it's no longer. There are a lot of households where she is the parent. So you can't say that, well, the husband needs the money because he has to take care of the family because she may not have one. So she has to take care of the family. She has to take care of herself, every other bill. So who am I or anybody else to say that she should get paid a lower wage?
That's powerful. That's good. That's good.
And I would say to add is sisters, negotiate. Learn to negotiate. I think that has been something that when I've spoken to women across the board, they don't negotiate, and I don't know why. Um, I've always negotiated from my first clinical job that I took. I've always negotiated my salary, and I believe that you should never take the first offer.
And how do you do that? Maybe I think that's the reason why. Maybe they don't know how. Is there a particular method possibly?
There is. I try, think about what you're trying to do. The goal is you're trying to make them understand that your value is not, what they've initially offered. So usually I will counteract whatever their offer was by saying, thank you very much for your offer. However, I would like to highlight these things, right? These things that I discussed in my interview, these things that are on my resume. And I believe that a better figure is this.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Now they can come back and say that we can't do this. And now you can, enter into a back and forth negotiation of, okay, what can you do? What is the budget looking like? Because often there is a budget that's larger than what they might tell you. And they can do some things depending on what kind of organization it is. They can move some things around. They can shift titles. They can, do some things for you if they're really interested in making the relationship work, because it is a two-way relationship. Don't fall into that thinking that it's just you're there to serve them. Of course, you're there to help them with their issues, but you're also there to get some benefit and learn yourself. So you need to be benefiting as well from the relationship.
Yeah. And I mean, I definitely will say, do your research. Use them Googles, Indeed. There's other websites just looking at pay, see what individuals get paid for that job. And so you're knowing going in, if they're coming with a low ball offer, you're going to know it. Like, oh, I know y'all people ain't getting paid what y'all just trying to pay me. And that's okay. It's okay, because our Black women deserve to get their fair pay and compensation for the amazing work that they are doing. So, hey, we appreciate those insights from these great doctors. Of course, this is the Doc Chat Show. Dr. Speights, Dr. Whitfield. We're going to go ahead, head on to the wrap up. Dr. Speights, tell the folks where they can find you on social media, how to get in contact with you, and one more final tip to somebody that's interested in becoming a doctor just like you.
All right. Well, you can find me. I have a website and blog that's amandatheot.com. So www.amandatheot.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. And for anyone who wants to become an occupational therapist, I think the biggest thing you have to love is helping people be who they are by doing the things that they love. So if you're that kind of person, I think that you should look into occupational therapy.
Okay. I love it. And you said something before that now majority of, is it the jobs are looking for more doctors now in that area? Just want to make sure I got clarification on that.
Yes, a little clarification is that currently there is still dual entry for occupational therapy. You can enter the field with a master's or a doctorate. However, many schools are transitioning to the doctorate, an entry-level doctorate program. There are still the masters out there if you can find them, but many of them are transitioning to an entry-level doctorate just to keep up pace with healthcare and some of our other allied healthcare folks. They transition to the doctorate like PT.
Wonderful. Dr. Amanda Speights, everybody. And shout out to our good friend, Dr. Brandy Wilkins, who connected us on Social Saturday and said, you got to have Dr. Amanda Speights on your show. here she is on the Doc Chat show. So we appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you. All right. And Dr. Dennis Whitfield, tell the folks where they can find you. Mind you, folks, this is one of my biggest viewers. He's on every week. I got to shout out this brother because I appreciate you. And he said, Dr. JT, when I get done, I need to be on there. I said, sir, I'm going to have a spot for you. Boom, here he is. The power of LinkedIn, folks. This is how it works. And we appreciate you, Dr. Whitfield. So tell the folks where they can find you. And one more tip for those folks interested in becoming a doctor.
All right. So you can find me on the Doc Chat. No, I'm just.
Yeah, you can. So, Thursday nights. We're here.
I'm on LinkedIn with just my name as you see on the screen. I'm also at drwhitty@yahoo.com. That's DRWHITTY at yahoo.com. You can also look me up on Facebook at Higher Level Learning with Dr. Whitty. You can look me up on YouTube under the same name, and hopefully tune in someday to some of the things that I will talk to you about with guests as well. Hopefully I'll have one of you on there or both of you on there.
Like to. Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah.
But what I would say to anybody is I would say challenge yourself. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Don't be afraid to be challenged, because I wasn't supposed to be here. And what I mean by be here is I wasn't supposed to graduate. I didn't even feel like I could go to college or could pass college. In fact, when I was in college from the beginning, I didn't even know I was supposed to read the syllabus. I had no idea what a syllabus was until years later. When I came home laughing and discovered that the reason why I had been failing is because I never read this thing called the syllabus. And years later, somebody said to me, I wish that your teachers could, in the past, could see you now. And I know what they meant by that is I just wasn't somebody that academically anybody would expect to be where I am now, 5 degrees later. So, like I said, it's not about the degrees, but it's all about knowing who you are, putting yourself in a better position. And I've even learned that, with certain level of education, when you do that negotiating, like a Dr. Amanda said, they can't even come at you with they have to start at a certain level. Don't come at me with, I'm gonna pay you $36,000 because I'm not. All right. So it's just giving yourself the ability to be in the competition, because there's some jobs that you'll apply for that'll say you have to have this, you have to have that, you have to have, in my case, you have to have a doctorate. Well, now they can't tell me, oh, well, you meet the qualifications, but you don't have a doctorate. They can no longer tell me that. So go for it.
That's true.
Yeah.
We love it. Absolutely.
They have to find another excuse.
Yes. Yes. And remember, they're not paying you for the degree. They're paying you for the time it took you to get that degree. They're paying you for the knowledge that you got from that degree, the expertise that you now have.
That's it. I'm telling y'all, we had a phenomenal time with these doctors, Dr. Amanda Speights, Dr. Dennis Whitfield. I'm telling y'all, these folks are doing great things. Shout out to these folks. Y'all get ready, folks. If y'all don't see, we got the Doc Chat t-shirts. We got them, folks. The brand is growing. The doctor movement is happening. They might be out for sale soon. Y'all keep your eyes out for those. And we appreciate the folks that are saying, I want to be a part of the doctor movement. And that's what the Doc Chat show is doing. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. All of the great comments, all of the great viewers. If you have not seen, folks, we got shows that have already hit 1,000 views out here. Folks are tuning in, and we appreciate it so very much. And I just want to say thank these great doctors so much for taking time to be on the Doc Chat Show as we are wrapping up July and going right into that new beginning of the month of August. I'm telling you, go for your dreams, as good Dr. Whitfield says. Make sure that if you want to do it, go do it, just as Dr. Amanda was talking about. And I truly believe, folks, every doctor deserves 100K pay. You deserve some money if you go get that doctor degree. Make sure you go for those degrees and go for those jobs that you want, because you deserve it, because you put in that work. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll be back next Thursday night. And as always, we say peace out. Thank y'all so much.